has his head in the clouds, and I hope you enjoy it. 20 minutes left until freedom, thought 8-year-old Dimitri Vincenzo, sitting in the back of the class, struggling to see the clock. Dimitri was doing what he does every day by this time, gazing out the window, dreaming of grand adventures in far-off lands. The only thing that drew his attention away from the world outside was the drawing on his desk. Drawing magnificent creatures was the only fun Dimitri had while he was at school. He had no friends. Everyone teased him. He was alone. While Dimitri was lost in his drawing, a creepy angular shadow crept up on his desk until it consumed him. He knew exactly what it was, but hoped he was wrong. As he tilted his head up, his fears were realized. Mrs. Strepp, just about the meanest teacher in all of Lincoln Elementary School, was standing over him, peering down her long pointed nose at the drawing on his desk. Her bony hand snatched the drawing in a flash. Dimitri slumped in his chair as Mrs. Strepp slithered to the front of the class. He noticed a small turtle near some tall trees by the back of his yard. I've never seen that kind of turtle before, thought Dimitri. As he stared at the little purple turtle with an orange shell, Dimitri slowly walked towards the turtle. But before he could get too close, the turtle darted through the trees. Dimitri pushed through the branches until he came to a spot he had never been before. In between the fence and the tall pines sat a mysterious willow tree with a hole in the trunk, just like a doorway, just large enough for Dimitri to fit in. He was about to move in for a closer look when his mother called him in for dinner. Later that day, Dimitri found himself on another backyard adventure. He cautiously made his way through the branches back to where he followed the purple turtle. Dimitri got down low on the ground as he squinted to see a dim light coming from deep in the doorway. Carefully, he stuck his head in. Where is that light coming from, thought Dimitri as he moved in closer. Suddenly, some of the soft ground came loose, and Dimitri tumbled into the doorway. Down he slid, as the opening above became smaller and smaller. Dimitri crawled out of the purple grass, following the bare fly, and the ground began to rumble. "What did I do?" shouted Dimitri, as he watched tiny bits of gravel bounce up and down. Turning around in fear, Dimitri saw a massive brontosaurus with zebra stripes stampeding right towards him. If that wasn't bad enough, the brontosaurus was being chased by a hungry red Tyrannosaurus Rex. Worst of all, Dimitri's legs were frozen to the ground. He wasn't too scared to move. It was just that an Arctic squirrel had actually froze his legs to the ground with its icy breath. That night at the dinner table, all Dimitri could talk about was his adventure to Serenity Island and the new friends he made there. "Weren't you scared of Roy?" asked Dimitri's mom as she put some broccoli on his plate. "No, he's very friendly," replied Dimitri with pasta in his mouth. "Don't talk with your mouth full," demanded Dimitri's dad, who didn't seem too amused by Dimitri's story. For the next 2 weeks, every day after school, Dimitri rushed down the hole in the willow tree and back to Serenity Island. He and his friends played all kinds of games like pineapple dodgeball and freeze tag. The best part was at night, when they would all gather around the campfire and listen to Dimitri's stories. Dimitri and Walter sat on the edge of the lake watching the stars come out. Walter didn't talk much, so Dimitri wasn't sure what to say to him. "Don't you have to go home to your family too?" asked Dimitri. "I don't have a family," replied Walter. "Oh, sorry," said Dimitri, feeling worse than before. They sat staring at the stars for a few moments before either one said anything. "I like to dream about places like this, you know," said Dimitri. "Other than Mom, you guys are the first people not to make fun of me for that. You believe in me, and that's what families do. They believe in each other. So really, you are like a part of my family." Walter didn't say anything for a while. He just kept looking at the stars. Dimitri kicked his feet in the water, thinking he upset Walter. "You're not the first human to come to the island, you know," said Walter. "I had other human friends, and we had great adventures together. Just like you, they would come here every day, then once a month, then once a year, until one day they stopped coming altogether. They all gave up on their imagination because it wasn't popular. They changed who they were to fit in and forgot all about it." Dimitri looked up at Walter, who had a tear in his eye, then put his arm around him and laid his head on Walter's side. "I'll never leave you," said Dimitri in a soft voice as the two gazed upon the night sky. It was raining the next day at school, and Mrs. Strett decided to go around the room asking surprise history questions. As usual, she wasted no time in correcting Dimitri for not paying attention. "The answer is not outside the window, Mr. Vincenzo," she hissed through her grinded teeth. All the kids laughed at Dimitri. Inside the office, Mrs. Strett told Dimitri's parents about his slipping grades and his lack of attention in class. Dimitri's father agreed with Mrs. Strett, telling her all about Dimitri's stories on Serenity Island. "We need to put a stop to Dimitri's dreaming," said Mrs. Strett. Dimitri's mother didn't like hearing this. "I'll help Dimitri get his grades up, but we don't need to punish him for dreaming," she said in a sweet but stern voice. Mrs. Strett's eyebrows fell low as she tapped her long, bony fingers together. "Mrs. Vincenzo," she said in a low voice, "something needs to be done about Dimitri's wild imagination." With that, the meeting was over. Out the back door to the yard, Dimitri quickly returned to Serenity Island. His dino pals were racing go-karts when Dimitri came in the middle of the track. "They're going to close the entrance," cried Dimitri. Bob almost crashed into an orangeberry tree when he heard this. When he poked his head through the hole, Mrs. Strett and his father were standing over him. "You can't close up the doorway. I won't let you," demanded Dimitri, looking up at the frowning grown-ups. When Dimitri turned back to the tree, the doorway was gone. "What did you do?" shouted Dimitri. All the disbelief had made the entrance disappear. "It's the only place I belong," he cried. Dimitri's mom sat him down and explained that we all belong in this world. Sometimes we come across obstacles on our way, and we just have to work hard to find another path to accomplish our goals. No matter what anyone tells you, never give up on your dreams. The next morning, Dimitri wobbled to the backyard, hoping yesterday was just a bad dream. There was nothing left of the tree. His father dug it up and removed it. The ground was flat and solid, as though the tree was never there. "I am a good person, and I belong everywhere, no matter what anyone says." With each positive word, more stems and roots grew from the seed. "I will keep my promise to Walter and never stop believing," Dimitri shouted. With those last words, the seed had fully transformed into a magnificent willow tree with a large doorway. At school, not much had changed. The other kids still made fun of Dimitri from time to time, but now it never bothered him. Dimitri learned that no matter how big your dreams are, if you work hard and believe in them, they will come true. Years later, Dimitri became a famous writer and illustrator, and he still goes on many great adventures with Walter, Roy, and Ub to this very day. The end. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Do you draw them?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I drew all. It took me about a couple of years to put this book together because I was working on a short film at the same time while working at other jobs. But it would have taken about 6 to 8 months to complete the whole thing, and it was just my sole focus. Go ahead.
Do you think you're going to become famous?
I don't know. My goal is just that if I get, can make people happy with what I draw and write, I think that'd be pretty cool. So if you guys were happy, then I've achieved my goal. So, thank you.